Shalom, giving all praises, glory, and honor unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of GMS, and peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. Wanted to do a quick video on something that happened to me the other day. It was simply a common occurrence or a common situation that happens to all of us in this truth. And a lot of people, even in this world, which is, you'll be dealing with someone, you'll just be interacting with someone, normal human interaction. And then all of a sudden, it'll take a left turn. It'll take a turn for the worse when out of nowhere, that person you're talking to will just all of a sudden get angry and mad or something crazy. Their emotions will just intense, get deeper and out of nowhere. And then now, they may be trying to attack you or trying to fight you. And you're like, oh, dang, what's going on? But that's nothing but spirits, man. That's nothing but spirits. And that's a situation that happens to us a lot where Satan and his minions, these demons, these left-hand angels, they'll hop on people. They'll hop on people around you to try to instigate and to try to make you make a carnal move. They'll try to make you make a carnal decision. They're trying to tempt you. And that happens to us a lot. That happened to me the other day, man. And I just wanted to do a video on the situation so that this can be, something that we can all learn and grow from, as I did. Okay. And it wasn't a big deal. It wasn't a big deal. It was just a small thing, but I definitely noticed it in my spirit. And I'm gonna go over it. I'm gonna go over the situation, but I'm gonna first get this scripture. Ephesians 6:12. It says, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places." So that means that the fight of being in this truth is a spiritual and mental battle before it's a physical battle. We wrestle not against flesh and blood, but principalities. So we got different demons out here, left-hand angels hopping on people around you to try to make you be carnal. And this is the fight. All right. These demons will try to hop on you. They'll try to hop on people around you. They'll try to influence you in different ways. And the other day I was talking with someone and it was just a normal conversation. And before I was talking to them, a family member of mine, we're hanging out in their crib. But before we were talking in that conversation, I had made them some food. I had just got done making both of us some food, and I made that person some food. So I hand the person the food that I made, and then like 5 minutes later, we just start talking. And then all of a sudden, mid-conversation, I could kind of see his face changed a little bit, but it wasn't anything. It wasn't a super big change. It was just, I could see him make like a different facial expression. And then that person started basically asking me these weird questions, man. They started asking me weird questions, trying to start something, like trying to start an argument. And it was real quick and it was real subtle. I'm trying to explain it the best I can. May not be explaining it right, but if you could just paint the picture in your mind of you having a conversation with someone, and then all of a sudden their face changes, and then they start asking you questions that are trying to start an argument. They were asking me questions out of nowhere, like, well, do you really do that? And I can't remember the exact questions, but all I know is the person, when I was having a convo with them, started asking questions that were just trying to start an argument. You know, it was just flat out trying to start an argument, trying to start a whole engagement. And in my head, immediately, I recognized that. And so immediately, I did in the moment what I felt to be the spiritual answer, which was to just back off, you know, be humble. So as they're asking all these questions and stuff, I kind of just verbally got my way out of the conversation by just, I just started being humble. You know, they were like damn near pretty much insulting me, but I pretty much just let them have it. You know, I said, okay, hey, you may be right. Hey, you may be right. And that the situation was done there. But it was a really quick and it was a really subtle interaction mid-conversation that I noticed. And a couple seconds later, the spirit told me, like, look, man, Satan was just on that person. Well, in the moment of me having that conversation, I noticed it on a conscious level, but I didn't really have time to think about it. I just knew that, this person's acting weird right now. But going back through the spirit, now that's where these scriptures start making sense, right? Ephesians 6:12, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood. So now when we go back to the scriptures, now when we have these different situations, now you can see that there's really a whole spiritual operation, you could say, that's always happening behind the scenes of manipulation. And this is the spiritual battle that we fight. So, like I said, after that little conversation was over, and Lord willing, the explanation of it made sense. I'm trying to explain it the best I can while, not getting too personal with my information and the details. But after that situation happened, I knew, I was like, hey, man, had I got offended at those words and took it to heart, as they say, and verbally replied how, he deserved it. Had I done that, it would have actually turned out to be a much bigger thing than what it ended as. It ended as just a small little conversation. But had I gotten, carnally tempted or allowed that temptation to win, then we would have gotten to an argument, or we would have even maybe could have gotten to a fight. But I avoided that whole situation, man, because of just, spiritual foresight. So these are the things that are gonna happen to us in this truth. These little small battles. This is Ephesians 6:12. Again, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. So we wrestle against these demons that try to attack us in different ways. They try to, they influence your mind, and then they influence the minds of those around you. So we have to maintain awareness of this. This is the spiritual battle constantly going on. We got to maintain awareness of this, because if we don't, then what's going to happen is that situation that I was going to end, that would have turned out to be a much more crazier and bigger situation had I not spiritually discerned it in the moment, And this is just, again, just going over the situation, man. Because in the past, I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have made that observation. I would have made the wrong decision. But that's why we're in this truth. And this truth is growing us. It's growing us. So we got to continue to maintain the observation, maintain the spiritual observation of different situations and how we react. This is Proverbs 25:28. It says, he that hath no rule over his own spirit is like a city that is broken down and without walls. So a part of ruling your own spirit is, observing your mind and observing your thoughts and observing other people and their countenance and what they say. And then, making the right decision, which is a spiritual decision. So like I said, man, I had to rule my spirit right there. And it's all praise to see how Bashim Yahweh Shai that he, allowed me to understand it. Because this happens to our people a lot. You'll be talking to another human, and then out of nowhere, they'll get all upset, or they'll get all angry, or they'll attack you, or you can just see, demons can change people's countenance. They can like morph their face and their facial expressions. They can really do that. And what do they call it? Body contortion or whatever. They can really twist the body up and shit like that, because they can come into your vessel and control your brain better than you and make your body look and do all types of weird shit. So, these demons just be hopping on people, man, randomly. And then they gonna hop on people near you. And then all of a sudden, you can see like, oh, dang, a demon's on that. You were just having a normal conversation, man. That's a demon. That right there, that spirit hopping on that person, that's a spiritual test, because the Lord wants to see not only if you can discern that, but he wants to see how you're going to react to that. And that's why we got to utilize scriptures like these. Again, Proverbs 25 and 28. He that hath no rule over his own spirit is like a city that is broken down and without walls. So we have to rule our spirit, control our mind. Don't allow these different influences out here to take away our understanding of what is good and what is evil, what is right and what is wrong, what is spiritual and what is carnal. We have to rule our spirit, control our minds, and discern and win these small little spiritual battles, because they're not really small. That's the growth that we need. That's the difference between us and a 2/3. Not only do we have the spiritual eyes to see it, but then we have the discernment to make the right decision, man. So we got to rule our spirit, which all that really means is to control your mind. Control your mind, control your spirit, control with different, control how you react to different feelings and sensations that this mind may have, because all these are just random impulses, man. That spirit hopped on the person that I was dealing with, and I felt the impulse. I'm like, man, this person's being an asshole right now. I should let him have it. That was the impulse that this mortal mind felt. But in the spirit, I was like, this is just some temptations happening right now, man. So these are just, spiritual battles, things that we're going to all go through and continuously go through. Different spiritual battles, man, that are happening with people every day, all around you. And we gotta stay in the spirit, man. So I'm not going to get any other scriptures, even though I could. I believe the point has been made, man. This is just like a small little testimony, you could say, and, the scripture's perspective, so that we can stay in the spirit. We want to stay in the spirit and win these battles. Keep reading these scriptures, man, and stay prayed up and faithful to Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. So Lord willing, this was edifying. Shalom.